Majora's Mask is easily the darkest game in the entire Zelda franchise, and it doesn't even try to deny the pain and agony that is experienced by characters in the game. We meet disturbed ghosts, traumatized citizens, and even witness someone die on screen. There are countless little things that just go to show how awful the world of Termina is. But what if I told you that there's an even darker thing that nobody except the hero of time himself got to witness? What if I told you that there is a curse that is never explicitly stated anywhere in the game, but that every player witnesses very often while playing through it? With every blessing comes a curse, and that is especially true here. I'm talking about the transformation masks. These masks seem very straightforward on the surface, simply turning Link from a Hylian into a Zora, Goron, or Deku Scrub, but they contain a secret that beats all the other dark things that Majora's Mask contains. They also explain a lot of weird quirks about the game that don't make sense otherwise. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, the transformation masks are a key part of Majora's Mask, being used a lot throughout the story to solve puzzles, access new areas, complete dungeons, and a lot more. With the exception of the Fierce Deity mask, they are obtained by Link playing the Song of Healing in order to soothe the soul of a poor, tormented individual. They go and tell Link about their sorrows and that they can't be peaceful knowing that some task has been left unfinished, like how Darmani failed to reach Snowhead and save Goron Village due to the Goron, and how Mikau failed to retrieve Lulu's eggs from the pirates. Link plays the Song of Healing and brings peace to the souls of the characters. However, it gets a little more complicated than that. Every time Link puts on a transformation mask, we see the mask shrieking in terror and agony before Link takes on its form. This is definitely not normal, and it is not explained ever why this happens. However, it's obviously very intentional. In order to answer why this happens, let's look back at what happens when Link plays the Song of Healing. The individual gains peace and then drops a physical mask. This doesn't make a lot of sense, since especially in Darmani's case, he is a ghost and yet he still drops a physical mask. I believe what is happening here is that when Link plays the Song of Healing, it brings all the negative feelings from the individual and gathers it all into one place. And since the Ocarina of Time is a magical instrument, it transforms into a mask with magical properties. This explains why when the Happy Mask Salesman plays the Song of Healing on his organ, nothing happens. It also explains why the masks scream every time Link puts them on. They are going from being a lifeless object to being part of a living being, and so all of that anger, agony, sorrow, and frustration goes from being a physical thing back into being emotions. Which means that every time Link uses these masks, he's then imbued with the emotions that the masks contain, until he takes the mask off, at which point the emotions are sealed within the mask again. This isn't even the first time we've seen emotions turned into physical objects either. Remember Betrow from Skyward Sword? In his side quest, he asks you to collect several dozen gratitude crystals in order to transform him from a demon into a human. Whenever you do something nice for someone in the game, they become grateful for your help and produce a physical representation of this gratitude. The opposite of this can be said for monsters. When they experience a feeling of intense anger and hatred, they produce evil crystals, which are described as pure crystallized monster malice. A third type of physical emotion that's not confirmed and is a lot more theoretical is love. As Nintendo Black Crisis stated in his mini-theory compilation, it's possible that heart containers and heart pieces could be formed by a sense of love. Not only because they are heart-shaped, but because there are a few characters in the series that connect them to love. I won't get too much into it here because MVC does a much better job at explaining it than I ever could. Love can produce more than just heart pieces though, as we see from Andrew and Cafe. When you finally complete their side quest and reunite them, they exchange masks, which produces a new mask called the Couple's Mask, which they then give to Link. When Link receives it, the description states that it's filled with their love. This directly states that the mask contains emotion, which is really strong evidence that the transformation masks are also filled with emotions. Obviously, it doesn't say directly that the mask is physically made out of love, however, what the mask does is even more proof that it is. The mask spreads love to everyone, calming down the argument and clock down and resolving everyone's issues, as if the mask is oozing its physical essence. Just as this mask shows the physical representation of love, the transformation masks show the physical manifestation of agony and unrest, thus why they scream. There are a few more things that this theory would explain, however, rather than just why the masks scream every time they're worn. First of all, it explains why the Gibdo mask doesn't transform Link like the others do. At first glance, it seems like it should, but the scenario in which it occurs makes the difference obvious. All the transformation masks were the result of a person feeling a really intense negative emotion, which is why they needed healing. The Gibdo mask, on the other hand, is just the result of physical healing. The scientist wasn't feeling immense sorrow or agony, he was physically being turned into a Gibdo. Playing the Song of Healing in this instance resulted in his body being physically healed and him being returned to a human. The mask was just a byproduct of the already physical result of the part of him that was already turned into a Gibdo. This isn't even the only time we've seen the Song of Healing do physical healing either, as in Spirit Tracks, the song can be played in order for Link to heal. None of the other masks really show any similar traits to these masks though, except for the Fierce Deity mask, which also screams when worn. I won't go into too much detail on this mask as there's already plenty of theories about where it came from, and there isn't really a lot of information about it, but if this theory is correct, then that means that at some point something happened to the Fierce Deity that caused it such immense sorrow that it could only be healed by the Song of Healing. Now, I don't have any evidence for this except for the description which states, could this mask's dark powers be as bad as Majora? So take it with a grain of salt. But what if the Fierce Deity and Majora had clashed in the past, and the Fierce Deity lost? It then sat in agony as a ghost, unable to rest, knowing that it had failed in its battle against Majora, until someone stumbled upon it and healed its soul. Again, I have practically no evidence for this, but it's something to think about. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do you agree with this theory of physical emotions or not? What about the last bit about the Fierce Deity? Be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content. I have Twitter and Instagram accounts that will both be linked below, so follow those as well. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today, so until next time, I'm Truth Force, and I'm out.